Hello and welcome. My name is Alison Bartolo. I am a Diamond Leader in doTERRA, very passionate about health and well-being, and I'm here to talk today about supporting hormones naturally. So this is really guided towards, as we're aging, that perimenopause leading through to the menopause, the stopping of our menstrual cycle, but all the stuff that goes on before that and how we can support our hormones through that. So let me share my screen. Here we go, supporting hormones naturally. So I'm Alison Bartolo. You can see here's myself and my family. Very brief introduction, not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm surrounding myself in plants and fruits and all sorts of things, all of nature. I'm basically work in partnership with Mother Earth. As I have aged, I have really learnt the power of nature when it's in an unadulterated format, in being able to support us in our health and our healing. So I'm excited to talk to you about that today. I am the founder of Ditch and Switch, which is a program that's really designed to help women or anyone to ditch the toxins and switch to like plant-based healthcare. So whether that's for using as body products, whether it's using as medicine, whether it's using for cleaning products, but just creating a really beautiful low tox environment. And I work in partnership with doTERRA essential oils. They're the foundation of everything that I do, because they are, I believe, the best, or they are the best version of Mother Nature that we can get in a bottle. So in our beautiful community, we focus on really 5 areas, and that's for healthy living, and whether that's for managing fertility or managing the menopause or managing various health conditions, whether it's anything that pretty much comes up. When we focus on these 5 areas of health, these pillars of health, what we find is the body comes to a really beautiful place of wellness. And when we're well, things work well, and things, we can fight things off, and we can manage stress, and we can manage all sorts of things that come our way. So really everything comes down to these 5. Don't have time to go into all of these today. All of these are really important for the perimenopause and menopause. I'm going to focus really just in this presentation on low tox living and nutrition, and even then we're only just going to touch on them, but hopefully just give you a flavor. So before we get started, I have designed a menopause ebook with a lot more information than I can give in this presentation. So really covering a lot more areas, giving some recipes and ideas and ways that you can use beautiful plant-based oils and other remedies to support yourself. So because I'll keep that updated, I haven't put the link here, but it will be in the description, so you can download it there. So starting with just some facts and figures, unfortunately, we live in a highly ultra-processed and synthetic world. So there's now been 86,000 synthetic chemicals that have been added to our food supply and our chains, just commercial products, not even commercial, but whether that's body products like shampoos and body lotions and makeup and all sorts of things on our foods. They're absolutely everywhere, and they're growing by about 2,000 a year. So there's more and more of these synthetic chemicals that are getting added into our homes. The average Western woman comes into contact with about 6,000 synthetic chemicals on a regular basis. And they've done a study. So the EWG is the Environmental Working Group. Highly recommend looking at them, just ewg.org. And they did a study and they tested the umbilical cord blood of newborn babies. So took the blood and analysed it, and found that the average Western baby is born with over 250, so actually 287 synthetic chemicals in their bloodstream on the day that they're born. And that's just things passing through the placenta, things that are in our bloodstream and that are getting passed on down. So I think that gives us a really good vision of actually the type of world we're living in. And I've got a little video I think is coming up next, which will probably start playing automatically.
Unfiltered tap water, which we will pour in 2 glasses. OTO chemical, test for chlorine, very sensitive for it. 10 drops. Notice it turning yellow. The evidence of chlorine. no chlorine in this water. Where did that chemical go? While I was testing this glass over 10 seconds, all that chemistry went into my skin and my hands. The evidence is clear.
There we go. So I think that's just a really good visual, quick demonstration of how readily our bodies absorb chemicals. So we have 3 toxic pathways. One is through our skin, one is actually through our gut, and the other is in our airways, so breathing things in. And the more we can minimize those toxins going in, the healthier our body's going to be, and it's going to reward us with getting well quicker, or fighting things off, or managing all sorts of threats that come our way, whether they're emotional or physical. So I want to talk about xenoestrogens. So xenoestrogens, xeno literally means foreign. So I'll explain in a moment how that actually works in the body. But these are basically some examples of toxic things that are in our everyday lives that are disrupting our hormones. So even the water, as you saw, lots of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, lots of poisons on our foods, cleaning products, both home and industrial, plastics, canned foods, dental things, receipts, they're actually really highly toxic, air fresheners, all sorts of laundry products, home furnishings, and then you can see a lot more personal care things like cosmetics, nail polish, hair dyes, perfumes are really toxic. Sunscreen, medical devices, birth control pills, toys, building materials, photocopiers and printers, and artificial food dyes. So it could be quite scary to look at that, because it's kind of like, oh my goodness, it's everything. But that is the reality. That is the world that we live in. It's highly synthesized. So we just look at ways that we can ditch these and find ways to switch to more natural solutions. So xenoestrogen. So xeno, literally the word xeno means foreign. So you see here on the left, this representation is of a cell. So at the bottom it's quite light, but the circular thing right at the bottom is a cell in our body, and inside there it's looking for information on how to behave. It needs to create its own energy. It's got its own little life universe going on inside that cell, but it needs information to know how to behave, and it needs hormones. It's looking for estrogen. So on the outside of cells we have cell receptors, and the estrogen cell receptors are a very particular size and shape, that are then ready to absorb the estrogen, and this is how it gets into the cell. So it's hard for things to get inside the cell because there's a cell wall. So you going through this cell receptor on the outside is a way for the estrogen to be able to penetrate into the cell and give the cell that lovely hormone balance that we are looking for. What's scary and unfortunate is that xenoestrogens are exactly the same size and shape and perfectly fit inside our estrogen cell receptors. So they are readily absorbed right down into our cells, but they're foreign, and they can mimic estrogen, but in a really corrupt way. And this is what's causing a lot of hormone imbalance in our society. So those things that we looked at on that previous page, those xenoestrogens, unfortunately, they are getting right down into a cellular level, and why a lot of people suffering with a hormone imbalance. And when we look at what's happening through women's whole life cycle, but particularly through the perimenopause and menopause, you can see the hormone levels are dropping. So the estrogen's dropping, the progesterone's dropping, but particularly the estrogen, it doesn't drop smoothly. It drops almost like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's why we can sometimes, there's hot flushes and there's this, because there's a sudden drop in estrogen, but then it bounces back a little bit, and up and down and up and down. And we can maybe feel that in our mood. We can maybe see it in our skin. We can see it reflected in lots of ways. But what's happening is when that the estrogen is low and it's having a dip, those cell receptors in our body, or down on the cells, they're empty, and they're craving the estrogen. They're saying, where's the estrogen we would normally have? And so it's even more vulnerable to those xenoestrogens. It's going to accept them far more readily. And xenoestrogens, unfortunately, are even more powerful than estrogens. They're sort of a lot more impactful than the estrogens themselves. So this is why it's such an important thing. It's an important thing at every point in our life, through from being born as a baby and through childhood and all the way through. But we can see here during this phase in our life how it's really important that we want to really minimize those xenoestrogens. And I'll show you ways that we can actually flood them with other things as well. So the top 10 things to ditch, there's lots of things you can, but in terms of top 10, I would be looking at synthetic cleaning products. These are a really easy, quick thing to change in the home, and it works out much cheaper when you switch to low tox. Air fresheners are full of phthalates, which are artificial fragrances, and we teach you all about that in the Ditch and Switch program, and how to spot them and also how to avoid them. Likewise, perfumes are full of phthalates, which are hormone disrupting compounds that it's actually an umbrella term. Anything that you see perfume or parfum or fragrance is an umbrella term for about 9,000 different synthetic chemicals that you don't even know which ones you've got going on in there. So these are all personal care products, or not all, but unless they're low tox, but most personal care products also have a number of toxic synthetic compounds in them, as well as laundry products. Sunscreen is a really easy, quick thing to make yourself. Or doTERRA, the company I work with, they have a beautiful sun care range. Also artificial colors and dyes in foods, but also they're in a lot of medicines and clothing even, and cleaning products again, and plastics, which people often have quite an awareness of already, and then pesticides. So eating organic as much as we can. You can look up the EWG have a really great list of the top, well, you can find it anywhere, the Dirty Dozen. So the top 12 most heavily pesticided fruit and veg, to see if you can avoid those as well. So what can we switch to? So yeah, these are just some of the ideas. We teach you all this in the Ditch and Switch program. Really easy, quick, simple, and way cheaper ways of doing all of the things on the left, but in a far less harmful way for your body, and actually nourishing and therapeutic. So I'm going to give you a few examples of ways to look out for how to read labels and to know, well, what's a xenoestrogen, what's good for us, what's not, because it's often quite difficult to know. So these are my two favorite resources. So one's the Chemical Maze app, which I think is about £7 or $7 or something like that. And you can look up any ingredient and it's going to give you a red sad face or a happy green face, or an orange one, a middle like amber one, if it's not enough research has been done on it, or it's got some good, some bad. And that's a really great way, because in the shops, or when my kids were little and they wanted the yogurt with the Disney princess on it, but I can tell it was toxic, we can look at the ingredients on the back, punch them into the app, and it's going to come out with usually a red sad face. And so even children can read a red sad face and understand that I don't want that in my body. So it's been a really useful tool for us when the children were little. And there's also that ewg.org, which is a fantastic resource. They're a non-profit organization that basically speak up on behalf of the consumer, because companies themselves, they're not going to invest in research to basically prove that their products are causing harm to people. And even if they have ingredients and they're shown to be safe in a small dose, well, there's no studies to show, well, what's that as an accumulative effect? If these lotions that we're encouraged to use every single day, what does that look like over a lifetime? What sort of impact is that having on our hormones and our cells? So EWG, they are here on behalf of the consumer, and they conduct studies, and they publish a lot of stuff on their website, and they have a database called the Skin Deep database. And that so instead of looking up individual ingredients like you do on the Chemical Maze app, they will analyze whole products. So you can put in like a Johnson & Johnson baby bath thing, and it will give you an overall rating. And instead of the sad faces or happy faces, it has just a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very clean, and 10 being very toxic. So that's quite a good resource as well, things that you can look in at that. It is a little bit more US based, mostly US products, but there are some global products in there as well. So I'm just going to have a look at, and this is not to shame any brand shaming. This is not the idea, because they're all bad basically. But Dove is a brand that I would have thought, well, that seems clean and pure, and it's the marketing and the advertising, it's very white and it seems peaceful. And I would have thought, well, this might be a really cleaner one maybe than others, and maybe it is, maybe I'm not. But grab this one to have a breakdown of. So I punched all of these individual ingredients into the Chemical Maze app. So a little bit of a laborious thing to do in this instance, but just to see what it would punch out. So you can see here that, yeah, there are some good things. You see the ones at the bottom, the linalool, citronellol, geraniol, cinnamol, and hydroxycitronellol. They are all compounds of essential oils. So they are using some natural not flavoring, fragrance, natural essence in there, which they can presumably then say that it's used as essential oils or natural aroma. But we can see it's also got some quite, red sad is definitively bad. So we've got a number of red sad things in here. You can see there's the perfume, which we don't even know what that means. That could be up to, it could be any one of those 9 or any multiple numbers of those 9,000 synthetic chemicals, and it's much higher up the list than the actual real compounds of essential oils, not even essential oils, but just compounds of essential oils that are down the bottom, presumably just in trace amounts, whereas they've got the perfume up the top to actually make the fragrance maybe it lasts longer, or it will have preservatives in it that then makes it smell much stronger. So we can see here it's not particularly, it's not something I would want to put in my body. In our program in Ditch and Switch, we teach you how to very, very simply and cheaply make your own. So I think my face is in the way here, but just using real base products like shea butter, coconut oil, beeswax, sodium bicarbonate, arrowroot, and essential oils. So much cheaper and really beautiful way. You can also, I've used old deodorant containers and poured it in so that you can still have the sort of stick version, so you don't have to put your finger in and wipe it on your armpit. I know some people would prefer not to do that, but there's lots of ways. And I honestly think I actually added a little bit of bentonite clay, which is really good at drawing out toxins, and I've been adding that into my homemade deodorant recipe, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And doTERRA themselves, they not only sell essential oils, but they sell lots of low tox products using the oils and using all those beautiful, pure, natural base recipes as well. So there's a balanced deodorant, which has got the beautiful balance blend in it, and I love using that as well. So some things I love making myself, some things I love buying ready-made. I tried making my own toothpaste. It was an absolute disaster. It tasted like salt and was just disgusting. So I just buy the ready-made one of that, and I choose to make my own of lots of other things. So it just depends what you like. So here's another example, just more of a high-end brand. So this is £150 for a 100ml bottle. This is very much sort of elite product, and it's actually marketed. The marketing really focuses around the Rosa gallica flower extract, which is the 5th from bottom ingredient. It's a beautiful ingredient, and we know that flowers are incredibly nourishing for our skin, but what we can see here is that it's right down the bottom, and there's a load of questionable and some toxic things in there, and you see a lot of those didn't even show up in the list, so they're potentially new or just unstudied. So this is quite a mix of all sorts of different compounds with a tiny little bit of some flower extract in there, but everything pretty much in there is almost everything is basically toxic when we can make our own. And here I've purposefully chosen our most expensive oils with a more expensive carrier oil. If you're going to make the most luxurious face serum yourself with jojoba, it matches the natural skin pH of the face. Frankincense is a really highly really highly valued oil. It's the king of oils. It's amazing for inflammation. It's amazing for cellular repair. So it actually gets in there, kills off cells that shouldn't be there, stimulates cellular apoptosis, and then helps with cellular renewal and regeneration. So I use frankincense on my skin every day. I just use coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil with it. And if you were to use that in a really high, heavy dilution, just the most nourishing elite version of the serum you could make, it's less than 10% of the cost of this one. It's got nothing nasty in it. It's absolutely amazing for the skin. Anyone that just uses frankincense in a carrier oil for their skin, they'll just notice how beautiful their skin looks after not a very long time. And finally, not going to go too much into it, but here's just another example of a cleaning spray. So you can have the toxic stuff, or you can just make your own so simply, so cheaply. It costs less than £1 and less than $1 to refill your own once you've got the bottle, which is you know, a couple of pounds, but once you've got it, you can just refill that. And really beautiful and really powerful. So I think when I started learning about essential oils, I didn't think they really were powerful. My experience with natural things, natural products, was that generally they're more expensive and they didn't work so well. So it's kind of like, well, you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to save the planet, trying to be kinder to your body, but when you're paying more and you're getting worse results, it's not that great. So when I found doTERRA essential oils, I was absolutely blown away at the difference, and how I could make my own things, and they're just so potent. So we can see here, there's an example of some, so Clorox is like a bleach, I think they use in the US. Lysol is another one, and then a control. So this was left over about 3 months, I think, using for certain pathogens, and the areas were cleaned with these different products. And you can see that the doTERRA On Guard essential oil blend actually outperforms all of these. And we spoke, we had a lovely doctor come over from Germany and spoke last March at one of our events, and she's been doing a lot of testing with the On Guard essential oil blend, and found that, yeah, it's outperformed all the hospital grade commercial cleaners. It's she even did tests with mold and with chicken poo. Even she had like petri dishes of all chicken poo and left them for months, and then studied what pathogenic thing or whatever were left at the end of it. And On Guard absolutely outperformed on all of the industrial grade cleaning products that she could find, and she tried putting them on in different orders and all amazing things, and she showed us all her results. So when we're working with really pure and potent essential oils that doTERRA produce, they are highly, you know, they're highly effective. And I love with the On Guard that it's safe to put on my body as long as I'm diluting it, and we're teaching how to do all that properly and safely. But also I can ingest it. So I sometimes use On Guard in my chai, a drop of that. You can even use a drop of On Guard in your red wine, and it's like tastes like mulled wine, because it's got cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, clove, and wild orange. So it's a really beautiful spicy mix, but incredibly powerful. So with doTERRA essential oils, they are very different to anything you might buy off Amazon. They are 100% pure. And unfortunately, even though a lot of bottles say 100% pure on the bottle, that doesn't really mean very much, because nobody tests what's in it. There's nobody that goes around and tests that. doTERRA themselves, they pay for their own third-party testing on every single batch, so that they can produce those results, and they actually produce them on a website called sourcetoyou.com. So every single bottle, I don't know if that's going to blur out, has got a batch number on the bottom, and you can plug that in on the website, and it literally gives you the results. And you can see here just the massive amount of testing they're doing. I think they go through over 54 tests every single batch, by doTERRA themselves and by those third-party independent testers. So that transparency of knowing exactly what's in the bottle is unlike any other company that's out there. And actually, Roseman University, they did a big study, and they got their hands on as many different essential oils as they could from right across the globe. And they actually found that there were only 3 companies where all their oils genuinely were actually 100% pure. So you imagine all the companies that are out there. It's actually estimated that over 85% of essential oils on the market are either adulterated or they're fake. And so they can be even synthetic and causing more disruption to the body when we're trying to do something, you know, the right thing. There's Dr. Robert Pappas. He's done lots of testing. He does say, send me in your Amazon oils or your whatever oils or any oils, and I'll test them. And he's got testing facilities, and he puts them up on the website. And it's really frightening when you see, you know, a bottle of 100% pure frankincense, it says on the bottle. And he said there was no trace of frankincense in there whatsoever. It was all carcinogenic synthetic compounds. There was a tiny smidgen, he said, of patchouli essential oil. That was the only trace of an actual natural compound in the whole bottle. So we do have to be very careful when we're looking for essential oils. You know, purity is an absolute must, but with doTERRA, what they go for is potency. So that means, you know, we can get a lavender from my garden and distill it, but it's not going to be as potent as something that's grown at high altitude, that's picked at a certain time of day, that's had been on the certain right angle for the sunlight. And so every single oil with doTERRA, they source it where it thrives in its indigenous nature. So the tea tree and eucalyptus are sourced from Australia because that's where they thrive, that's where they grow so abundantly. And when you look at the chemical profile of that oil, it's much higher than a tea tree that's maybe grown in another country that might still be pure, but it's not got that therapeutic nature. And the lemons are grown in Sicily, the wild oranges are grown in Brazil, the vetiver is grown in Haiti. So it's a big global, we literally saw, we're accessing the whole globe and what it produced best, and having that in a bottle here on my desk, which I just find absolutely incredible. So we really want that potency. They are food grade, they're way above food grade. Only a small number of oils actually are food grade. But even then, it doesn't necessarily mean very much. So if it says it's not safe to ingest, but it's peppermint or lemon, it's a food product that you would eat, then you've got to ask why and be very cautious with that. So I absolutely love these oils. They're the only oils I would use on my family, and they're the only oils I would use as medicine. And they've completely changed our life. We've used no pharmaceuticals in 10 years now, apart from where we've had broken bones and needed sort of emergency intervention, in which case I'm all up for it. Give me what you've got. But in terms of maintenance and keeping well, we use the oils for all our first aid, all our cooking, all our cleaning, skincare, all our gut health. They just are our life. That's what we have. We don't have any medicine in the house to turn to. Well, we do, but it's in this format. And once we got our heads around that and worked out how nature can so powerfully support us, then we've never looked back. So I'm going to talk a little bit now more about the internal side. So using the oils to create a beautiful low tox lifestyle is one thing, and then we're going to look at this internal way of supporting ourselves through this perimenopause to menopause. So we saw earlier that we had the estrogens going into the cell receptors, and then those xenoestrogens unfortunately filling the estrogen receptors really well. But over here we've actually got phytoestrogens. So phyto means plant, so these are plant-based estrogens, and these actually also perfectly fit inside the estrogen cell receptors. So they're not as powerful, they're almost like 1,000 times less powerful than the xenoestrogens, unfortunately. But if we can flood our body with phytoestrogens, then they're going to fill up those cell receptors before the xenoestrogens can get there. So we can do that through certain foods. So we've got things like flaxseed, sesame seeds, soybeans, and soybean products, cruciferous vegetables, garlic, ginseng, wheat bran, oats, peanuts, almonds, also peaches and prunes and licorice and those sorts of things. So you can easily just look this up, what foods in, also things that are quite spicy, like wasabi, and what's the other thing, like radishes. They're quite high in phytoestrogens as well. I personally love to take the phytoestrogen complex from doTERRA. So if I take this first thing in the morning, I know I'm flooding my body with all the phytoestrogens, filling up those cell receptors before anything else, to give my body a fighting chance. And these are amazing. We've got a lot of people on our team who have taken these with great results. So I thought I'd read you just a couple of people's experiences. So someone said, I took it when I was experiencing massive hot flushes and night sweats. And then she talks about what her doctor was trying to put her on and how it was going to cost so much. So she said, I decided to try the phyto. Within a week of taking 2 a day, all of my symptoms completely disappeared. Someone else said, I consider it a miracle supplement, and recommend it to all my female friends who have any type of hormonal imbalance. Someone else, this product is a must. I started taking 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening a few years ago. And my hot flashes disappeared within 7 days. And even if I miss 1 dose, the hot flashes return with a vengeance. And she said, I'm typically the hot mess, but with phyto, I'm just a regular mess. I like that. Someone says, I use it successfully with Claricalm. So Claricalm's our hormone balancing blend of oils. That's incredible. So use it successfully with Claricalm to halt hot flushes and support my body through perimenopause without any added prescriptions. Someone else, my mum, it stopped her night sweats in 3 days. Someone else saying, for me, it was amazing. I take it every day. I was menopausal, I think. And now I feel that everything is normal. So that's just some people having great experiences with it. So I love this compound. Highly recommend it as well. And while we're talking about, that's specifically one way to help with the low toxicity, stop those xenoestrogens. But in terms of supporting ourselves internally, as we lead ourselves transition through to the menopause, there are so many minerals, herbs, and vitamins that actually support us. And I'm quite a spreadsheet geek, so I've been doing a lot of research around this, and this here on the screen are all the different things that have shown in studies, and it's all documented that these have a positive impact. And there's so many symptoms of menopause. We've got, from obviously hot flushes, it's probably the one most people experience that, but it was probably the most well known. But there's migraines, there's hair, people find their hair thins, there's raising cholesterol, there's calcium absorption, there's the brain and the cognitive function, there's mood, and that irritability. Sleep is massively effective. Some people get tinnitus. A lot of people have weight gain and struggle with metabolism. People struggle with libido. There's just so much. Unfortunately, there's so many symptoms of it. But with that, it means there's lots of things that can actually support those areas. So I really love doTERRA's lifelong vitality supplements because it actually includes pretty much all of those vitamins, herbs, and minerals. And I've done a bit of a breakdown here. Apologies if you're not a spreadsheety person, I just love them. So down the left is all the vitamins, minerals, and herbs that I could find that were supportive in some area of transitioning to menopause. So I know you really can't see this, but I'm going to give you a link where you can actually download this and have a look, and probably zoom in and see it better. But you can see across the top, you've got some of the symptoms. So from bladder to blood pressure, all the way through to weight at the other end. And then down the left is all the herbs and minerals and vitamins. And then where there's a Y, it just means, yes, that is supportive to that particular symptom. And everything there that is highlighted in green is part of the Lifelong Vitality Pack from doTERRA. So that is their absolutely amazing supplement pack, and it's all bioavailable, which means it's in food format. It's not synthetic, which most supplements that you buy either online or from health food shops, they're synthetic versions. One really quick and easy way to tell if like a multivitamin is synthetic is look for the folate or folic acid. So folate is the natural version, the food format version, bioavailable version of it is folate, and folic acid is the synthetic version of folate. So if you're seeing folic acid on there, then basically it's quite a quick, easy way to tell that they're synthetic supplements. But obviously not every supplement has that on it, so it's difficult to tell. So I have done, there's a link so you can actually look at this a bit closer. And I'll just give you a couple of testimonies as well for people having this. So specifically related to menopause. Someone said, I was having 10 to 12 hot flushes a day, just thought it was going to be in my life for a while, but within 2 weeks of starting LLV, so LLV is the lifelong vitality, they went away and haven't returned. Someone else, within 2 months of being on LLV, my hairdresser wanted to know what on earth I was doing because my hair was healthier and growing faster than she'd ever seen it. And I already had a ton of hair. My nails are healthy and growing for the first time in my life. My increased energy noticeable within 4 days. Someone said I got introduced to LLV because of major issues I was having. To cut a very long story short, they've saved me from having a hysterectomy, literally changed my life with the first use. And then here's someone saying, not menopause but the wacky time of peri, I think. When I'm consistent with the products, I feel a noticeable difference in my mind, body, and the flow of my emotions and day. I have many customers who have gently glided through menopause with them and swear they are like the magic for heat, spurts, sleep, and calming. And so I've done a bit of, there's so much to say on these. I've literally got like a 2-hour presentation just on these supplements because they're so complex and there's so much in there. But I actually did a bit of research to see, as a cost comparison, because some people say they're expensive, but I think they're amazing value. So out of the, out of the 68 ingredients down on the left, the Lifelong Vitality has 52 of those. And I went through the Holland & Barrett website and I basically worked out what would it cost to buy these supplements. And you can actually only buy 32 of them. Like the others are just so specialized, you can't buy them. So that's less than half of the 68 that's here in this list. So you can only buy less than half of them. And I went through and found the cheapest. They're all synthetic, so the cheapest and in the biggest batch. So if there was 120 doses or whatever, I worked out, okay, what would that work out on a 30-day dose, like a monthly as a monthly cost. So that's in its biggest batch, it's synthetic, and it's the cheapest version, the cheapest brand. And the monthly cost, and that's to get less than half of what's here on the left, was £202.97. With the Lifelong Vitality, they are £80 for 30 days. But that's on full dose. We do recommend most people starting on half dose, just because there's so much in them and that it takes a little time for the body to get used to them. They also stimulate cellular apoptosis, so that unhealthy cell die-off. So if there's anything not good going on in your body, they stimulate that to go away, which it's good to do that a bit more gently and start on half dose. And then most people sit somewhere between about 3/4 dose and a full dose, depending on your size and how you feel on them. So I just think they're incredible value. And I just feel amazing. When I first started taking them, I was so lethargic. I was just constantly fatigued. I was constantly falling asleep with the kids in the evening and just lost my evenings and just wasn't feeling great mood. And I've been taking these and I just feel amazing. I notice it in my skin and my hair and my nails, and the whites of my eyes look amazing. And I just feel so energized. I feel like that brain fog that came on with pregnancy it went away. I'm back to who I am. And I've noticed as people head towards the menopause, that can start to come back. But in our community, people that are taking these Lifelong Vitalities, actually their transition to menopause is being very smooth. There's not even that much talk about it, other than new people coming in and wanting support with that. So I think when you're living a low tox lifestyle, creating that low tox home, and nourishing the body from the inside, the transition is just less dramatic. It's less noticeable. There's less to talk about. So in terms of using doTERRA and joining our community to embrace this way of living, there's lots of ways to do it, but we can focus on that low tox living and creating that beautiful low tox environment by doing the Ditch and Switch program, learning how to replace simple cleaning products and body products and things all around the home and all your first aid. Or there's looking at it through that nutrition side, saying, yeah, actually, I'm just really interested in these supplements and phytoestrogens and doing things on an internal level. And sometimes when we feel good in our body and our mind, then we're able to maybe look at the Ditch and Switch and those other things. We're in a better place to do that. So it's really about what feels right for you. Or you can do both, and that is brilliant, obviously. So with the Ditch and Switch program, you can either go to ditchandswitch.co.uk, but that's going to basically just give you a little bit of info, but it's going to lead you through to show you what the program involves. So the program has 9 ebooks full of amazing recipes. There's over 150 recipes to just change over in your home. So from everything. So just basic cleaning products to, the window cleaner, floor cleaner, making your own toilet bombs, everything that I make all my own laundry products, or showing you which low tox versions to buy. You've got the skincare, so making your own face serums or hair products, or deodorants, any of that sort of stuff. We've got an emotions book there. There's all the first aid. There's stuff for child and baby as well, and pregnancy. If that's where you are, if you're watching this, you're probably not. And just simple basic ways of using them as well. And we do have a number of bonus ebooks that have been added to this collection. So we've got all Christmas gifts, and we've got an ADHD booklet, and now we've got this menopause ebook as well. So we're continually adding to this as well, depending on your area of interest. And there's also 4 video trainings. So the books are more like the recipes and how to do it, and the videos really showcase the why and the theory behind it. So for example, running through how to read those ingredient labels, that's the sort of thing that's in the program to really guide you to start to know what to look for and how to think about things so that you can make those great choices in the home. So each one of these videos is about 45 minutes, maybe slightly less for some of them. So you can do that in your own time. It's all online. You can choose to have it drip fed into your inbox, or we have it on our online community, and you can just do it all self-paced and whenever you like. And so a taster of what you'll replace: loads. You just replace the way you do things, replace all the toxic things we don't even realize are toxic, and just do it all naturally, which is beautiful. So the Ditch and Switch kit comes with the top 10 doTERRA essential oils. These 10 are the 10 I use most in my home all the time. with that kit, you can literally replace your first aid kit and use it for all those things: the cooking, cleaning, skincare, gut health, everything, all emotional health. It's just an amazing kit. Help for sleep. It's a real broad spectrum of oils. So you've got oils in there that cover so many different areas. If I had to pick 10 to make a kit, this is the kit I would make. And I love that that's the starter kit that's available there. And we've got some coconut oils so that you can dilute that and use them on your skin safely. We have a cleaner concentrate in there, which helps you to make some of the cleaning products. It's just like a natural detergent that helps stimulate that, and some empty bottles and rollers so you can start making remedies and things around your home. And then we've got the 4 videos and the 9 ebooks and much more as well. You get lifetime access to our group, and you also get an online doTERRA membership, which means you get 25% off anything else you choose to buy. So down the track, you might say, well, then I want to try the supplements, but you now have an account that you're going to get 25% off anything. So you don't have to do everything all at once, if that makes sense. And the price for that is £173.30 for all of that, and that's shipped to your door with your online account ready to go if you ever want to buy anything more in the future, and lifetime support and guidance from us as well. So the other way to start is with the supplements. So I've put together here the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is just incredible. I wish I could spend more time talking to you about it. Also those phytoestrogens, plus the Clary Calm Essential Oil Blend. So this is an amazing essential oil blend that's specifically designed for hormonal balance. So it's got all the hormone balancing oils in there, like clary sage, ylang ylang, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, geranium, fennel, and it's got carrot seed, palmarosa, and also Vitex. And Vitex is actually something naturopaths prescribe for that hormone regulation. Sometimes if people's cycles are off, it's an amazingly powerful oil, but essential oils are 50 to 70 times more powerful than the herbs themselves. They're in such a potent format. So to have all of these in one blend, it's amazing. And that is pure oil in there. So we do actually recommend just taking a little bit of it out and putting that with the carrier oil. So you get like 10 bottles out of this. Normally when you buy things like this online, they'll be diluted already. So it's a bit blurry, diluted already. So yeah, it's literally 10 times the amount of this. It's hard to visualize. And then there are just some basic oils, some lemon, lavender, and peppermint essential oils. So you do have something to get going with the essential oils, so you can start playing with the Ditch and Switch program. There's over 100. I've got an ebook of over 100 ways you can just use those 3 oils. They're an amazing combination. So that it gives you a little taster of that. So that's another option of way to get started. Or of course, you can. There we go. So there's the first 2, the Ditch and Switch, the supplements one, and on the side here, there's a combination of them. So if you want to get everything all at once, of course you can, and this is the way I do it. So these are the links to follow, and I will post these in the description box as well, so that you don't have to you can scan it right now on your phone with the QR codes if you like, or take a screenshot so you can review them, and that's totally fine. But I'll put the links in the description so that you can look at that in your own time. So if you need anything else, I highly recommend going to ditchandswitch.co.uk or linktree/join doTERRA. Or if you've got any questions or you need support, I'm very happy to help people one-to-one, because I know, especially at this stage, people have different things going on, and it's not always just straightforward, simple, got the same symptoms as everybody else. There might be complex things or history, and I think it's always good to be able to talk to somebody about that. So please feel free to email me at ditchandswitchwithalison@gmail.com, and I'm more than happy to help you. And the most important thing is, welcome to our beautiful community. Happiness is teamwork. We are a beautiful community. We spread right across the globe. So there's a lot of people in Australia. I'm now based in the UK. And this was a couple of months ago. We had a beautiful retreat where we came together and did sound healing and yoga, and had a beautiful talk on self-care, and we had cacao. And it's just a really lovely thing to be a part of a community where people are focused on doing things holistically and taking power back and control of their health, and being able to talk openly about that. And not everyone always has the same opinions about things, but we're all in it to just create the best wellness that we can for each other. And I love our community so much. We've got 1,500 families in there at the moment. I'm totally up for expanding that exponentially, and just having more and more good times and fun, and embracing wellness with as many people as possible. So feel free to reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you.